Hello, Sangha. I'm here with some friends. That's Ella. And this is, I think that's Karma. I don't know. I can't remember the cat's names very well. Isabella really wanted a cat, so okay, now I have a cat too. Two of them actually. So yeah. So anyway, it was interesting. I put this week does anybody have questions? Dear Abbott kind of thing or something like that, and it was cool. There was some pretty interesting questions came back. One of the ones from a Sangha member asked, and this I'd never thought of before. That this person asked, why is it that Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva does not appear on our lineage chart? This is a person who's received the precepts, and if you've ever seen one of those documents, there's the Shakyamuni and the so on, and all the different successors of teachers, and all the way down to you as being part of the lineage. And okay, so that's a really interesting conversation. So the thing about this is that the lineage, the ancestral lineage that we use, is uh, supposed to be. I mean, the way the story is told is it's literally teacher to student to teacher to student to teacher to student, all the way from Shakyamuni down to the current day. Um, so, so the idea is that there's two things about that. One is that there's a literal interpretation of that, like literally that's the case, and then also there's a lot of deconstructionist stuff blowing that away, saying, well, you know, that's not true, and at various points the lineage came and went, and there's all kinds of stuff about that. But the intention of it is, um, particularly when the Dharma came to China, there was a strong sense of ancestral connection and lineage, and it's very important in the way I've heard this explained, that in the Chinese culture at that time, ninth century, 7th century, 10th century, this kind of area, that ancestral lineage is a big deal in Confucian mind, and therefore in Chinese mind. So, there was some maybe reconstruction going on. We've got to kind of prove our legitimacy and work our way back through India. Um, to me, though, what's really going on with the lineage chart is it's an attempt to show that this first domino that was pushed by Shakyamuni Buddha has continued to push other dominoes and to roll forward over time. And the intent of the lineage chart is to express and acknowledge teachers. In fact, there's a large effort going on of late within the past decade, which means in Buddhism that's recent, right? So to include more women ancestors that are systematically not included for all kinds of crazy reasons. So these lineage charts get um, modified and updated and revised and this kind of thing over time, a little bit here and there. I would love to see some more women included, and there are people making efforts in that, just to say it. However, Avalokiteshvara is not, well, I mean, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva is a Bodhisattva character, okay? So again, there's a couple of ways to perceive this. If we take a literalist understanding of it, Avalokiteshvara is a sort of a cosmic bodhisattva entity type of figure that is actually the embodiment of the compassion of all the enlightened ones. It's just in the same way that Manjushri is actually an embodiment in some kind of way of the wisdom of all the enlightened beings. See? So, at its most basic reduction, we've got yin and yang, compassion and wisdom. And people will argue about which is which, by the way, which is yin and which is yang, whatever, it's fine. But, the idea that there's this kind of clarity and there's this kind of open heart compassion, see. So at that level, you won't see Manjushri in the lineage chart, and you won't see Avalokiteshvara either, because they're not really directly teachers, per se. But now the question came up, well, how come in the Heart Sutra it seems like Avalokiteshvara is doing the teaching? Well, to Shariputra, right? So she's a teacher, so why wouldn't they be included. So the deal is when you encounter Mahaprajnaparamita literature, when you encounter Mahayana sutras like the Lotus Sutra or the Avatamsaka Sutra, there's just a bunch of these things, and when you encounter them, you're entering Neverland. It's poetic, it's mythic, it's magic, it's evocative. There's billions of worlds and cosmos and all kinds of. It's beautiful. Um, the Heart Sutra is part of the Prajnaparamita literature. It's squarely in the middle of it. And so the story is that Buddha is in a deep concentration, a deep samadhi of some particular type. I can't remember which one right now. And he emanates Avalokiteshvara. Boom, there's the emanation. See, there she is out there. He is, she is. Can be masculine or feminine, by the way. Both Manjushri and Avalokiteshvara have masculine and feminine manifestations, and some can be wrathful or peaceful as it goes on and on. So anyway, Buddha, you know, emanates Avalokiteshvara and then causes Shariputra to ask. See, so Buddha's kind of back there, this figure, and like causing this drama to kind of play out so that the conversation can happen and the Dharma wheel can turn. So it's, the teachings that are in there are obviously so important that we chant them daily. So it's pretty central, obviously, right? But the story around it is very cosmological and kind of, expansive and poetic. So the lineage chart itself tends to be, especially for the last, I don't know, since the 9th century or so, it tends to be really literal, like this person to this person to this person to this person. So, James Ford Roshi is there, and then G.U. Kennett is before him, and there's a direct student-to-teacher relationship and a transmission of the Dharma that happened there. And so it just keeps going back that way through time. Yeah, at least that far, So, other news for the Sangha, I'd like to really hold up that the Ango thing is going to be amazing. We've got a theme picked out, which we'll make public in a little while, and I really hope people make time to make the Sunday morning classes. Again, they're going to be every Sunday morning from 9:30 to 10:30. And it's going to be really great. I mean, Dawn and I have worked incredibly hard to create a nice series of learning experiences. This is going to be really different from anything we've done before. It's certainly different than anything I've ever taught before. There's an organizational principle that I'll explain and all this. So that's really exciting, and I hope everybody, as much as possible, can participate in that. And then we're not really going to have a whole bunch of different kind of workshops. In Ango's past, we've had like a bazillion different one-off hit things, and we're not doing that this time around. This time around, we're going to have that Sunday morning class. That's one big thing, and then we're going to have the session, and opposite the session every other week, there's going to be a Zazenkai. So we've got two poles here. We've got a sort of a Buddhist education kind of piece that we're going to really lean into together, and then we've got session and retreat days, and that's going to be the tight focus of the Ango. So the hope is that by narrowing in like that, it'll enable more people to actually participate in the same activities together, and Dawn and I feel that this is really what our community needs at this time, is to really emphasize these two different points. So that's the deal. In other news, we've got an orientation coming up again on February 22nd. If you know anybody who's been visiting the temple lightly and wants some more information about it, or if you've got some friends who you think might like what we do, that orientation is designed to be a super welcoming, easy, accessible entry point, and it's working great. So, share this along with anybody you want and invite them to join in and come be there to support them if you like. That'd be fantastic. Okay, happy Friday, Sangha.